right, we are opening up 1 minute. Can we have a little patience, please? I know everyone's charged and wants to ask questions. May I just suggest that we do not make alternative formulations? And if you could frame your questions within the, within the kind of norms that have been suggested. Talk about federalism, talk about democracy, talk about justice, and talk about solidarity with our fellow citizens. May I first, I'm going to recognize people, but please, with civility, respond. I know it's a very emotionally charged issue, but this is not what this meeting is about. We're going to have a reflective, rational debate. And I'm a teacher of long standing. I know how to maintain discipline. May I first call upon Wajahat Habibullah to make an observation, and then we'll move on. And can we have gender balance, please? I'd like to see women also read. I will come to you. Please, Wajahat, sir. Mike? Yes, please.
We have a mic.
Mic? Yeah, here's the mic. Go there.
That after I entered the service in 1968, I have had the opportunity to serve in Jammu and Kashmir, but also deeply ashamed of the fact that my service in Jammu and Kashmir has been a complete failure. Proud why? Here you have this young man. You wouldn't find educated young people like that when I actually joined the state. Now you have plenty of young people, bright young people like this, who are able to speak to you in the way Shah Faisal has. Ashamed because a mission for me in Kashmir was that I might win over the youth to the idea of India. And I committed myself and dedicated myself fully while working there and while working in the Prime Minister's office. I was in the Prime Minister's office under Mrs. Gandhi in 1987 too. To making them feel that they are Indians. The description you have heard shows you what has been the consequence. Certainly a cause of personal shame to me. But if I may just summarize from the discussion the issues that have emerged, and you would all have heard of the question of Azadi, 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 being the theme of Stone Pelters and others. Unfortunately, I have to admit, standing here before you and Dr. Chandok, that Kashmir has never enjoyed democracy. Not in 1953, not even in 1950, when Sheikh Abdullah faced election himself as leader of the National Congress. You know that. For a long time, people have talked about 1977 being very free and fair elections. I was Deputy Commissioner of Srinagar and conducted those elections. They were freer than the elections before them. But when I was presiding officer of an electoral booth in Anantnag in 1971, as we walked out with the ballot boxes to put in the treasury before the counting the next day, the polling officer who was with me, walking with me, and he actually carrying the boxes, said, "Char din ki chandni, 5 saal ka andhera." Because those ballot boxes, what was contained in them was not the election result. The rigging of elections had been made into a fine art from the very time of the initiation. Now, in 1977, I would admit that the elections were not entirely rigged, but they were not what one might call fully free and fair either. 1983, the elections were much larger, and of course, I was associated with the decisions and elections and things that took place further, but 77 gave a glimmer that there were possibilities of democracy in Kashmir. And that, unfortunately, we know did not lead to what they felt would be a democracy. And there have been, I would admit, since 2002 at least, there have been free and fair elections there. But then what is the breadth of participation? Has everybody actually participated in those elections? So, basically, on the question of accession, the accession took place because the Kashmiri people were convinced, on the persuasion of their leader, Sheikh Abdullah, that freedom could be had only in India. And he's described this several times. That freedom they have not enjoyed. I have called my book The Dying of the Light, because the light that has died there, this was a totally non-violent people. Totally. So non-violent that when I actually arrived in the state, they couldn't slaughter a kitchen in their home. They had to engage a butcher to come and slaughter the chicken for them. And this is the state where young people are now associated with violence. What have we done? Thank you.